Hi everyone, and welcome to The Sleepy Scientist. I'm really happy you're here. Tonight, we're going to go on a calm and quiet trip to learn something amazing. So get comfy, take a deep breath, and let's enjoy this peaceful science story together. Before we start, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it for you right now? If you like relaxing science videos, don't forget to tap the like button. Now let's begin. In the quiet spaces of the universe, long before there were stars, planets, or even the dust of galaxies, there were tiny pulses of energy moving endlessly. The universe has always known motion, always known vibration, always known a restless hum beneath everything. Imagine drifting in darkness that is not empty, but alive with the smallest dances. Invisible particles, impossibly small, trembling in rhythms too delicate for human eyes. Each atom, each flicker of energy carrying within it a memory that nothing truly stops. Even silence is not stillness. Even rest is only motion slowed into a softer rhythm. This is where the story of atoms begins, with the unbroken truth that energy cannot be destroyed. It only changes shape, like a breath moving from lungs to air, from air to trees, from trees to fire, from fire to light. Atoms are the smallest storytellers of matter, tiny and tireless. Within each one, protons and neutrons rest at the center, bound together by a force so strong it has never been broken by the ordinary passage of time. Around them, electrons swirl in endless patterns, not like planets circling the sun, but more like clouds of possibility, like music vibrating through invisible air. You cannot see their path, only sense their presence, and yet they never stop. They move at speeds beyond comprehension, their restlessness creating the architecture of all that exists. Every table, every stone, every tree, every body, inside them the dance continues. What feels solid beneath your hand is not truly solid at all, but atoms trembling, swaying, vibrating in eternal rhythm. Imagine placing your hand on the bark of a tree. It feels still, silent, grounded. Yet inside, the atoms of the bark are shaking, shifting, vibrating at a pace too small for your senses. The molecules that make up the fibers of wood are alive with thermal energy, with movement that never ends. Heat is simply motion, the jostling of atoms against one another, a restless whisper reminding us that nothing is still. Even in the heart of winter, when the air chills and frost clings to windows, the atoms of your breath move in quiet haste, bouncing, colliding, expanding outward with every exhale. Life is built upon this hidden ballet, a ceaseless dance that is more constant than the ticking of any clock. If you listen closely to the universe, you begin to realize that stillness is an illusion. What seems to be unmoving, a stone resting on the ground, a mountain standing tall, even your own body lying quietly in sleep, are all restless oceans of atoms in perpetual vibration. Scientists call this atomic motion the foundation of heat, the energy that pulses in every piece of matter. When something feels warm beneath your touch, it is the movement of atoms rubbing and colliding, sharing their energy in endless exchanges. When something feels cold, it is simply that the atoms are moving more slowly, but never fully stopping. The universe does not permit the end of motion. It only allows shifts in tempo, like music that slows into a lullaby but never fades to silence. The deeper you go into the world of atoms, the more mysterious their endless motion becomes. Inside the nucleus, where protons and neutrons live, another force whispers, a force called the strong interaction. It is the reason the core of every atom holds together. Without it, the universe would scatter into dust finer than thought. This strong force binds the very heart of matter, keeping it from flying apart, holding the story of energy within a center that cannot collapse. And still, even here, there is movement. Quarks, the smaller particles inside protons and neutrons, vibrate and hum with energy. They are bound, but they are never still. Like tiny heartbeats, they remind us that even the smallest corner of the universe is alive with motion. Now imagine the electron, the restless traveller. It does not follow a fixed path, but exists in clouds of possibility, appearing here, vanishing there, always humming with energy. In quantum mechanics, the rules that govern the smallest scales, electrons are never at rest. They jitter in strange dances, jumping between energy levels, sometimes vanishing from one place and reappearing in another, as if guided by invisible rhythms. Even when stripped of almost all energy, they still move with what physicists call zero-point energy, a reminder that emptiness itself has a hum. It is as if the universe does not allow silence. There must always be a vibration, a trembling, a reminder that existence is alive. Energy moves between atoms in endless exchanges. When you light a candle, the heat released is the motion of molecules colliding, vibrating faster and faster until they share their energy with the air. The flicker of flame is not destruction, but transformation. The wax, once still and solid, becomes motion in the air, heat in your skin, light in your eyes. The atoms themselves are not lost, they are rearranged, their energy shifted into new forms. This is the secret of energy. It does not end. Changes hands, changes homes, changes faces, but it never stops. It is as old as the first pulse of the universe, as fresh as the warmth of your breath in cold air. You can feel this truth most clearly when you listen to your own body. Beneath your skin, your cells are alive with energy. Mitochondria within them convert nutrients into adenosine triphosphate, tiny packets of usable energy. This process is a miracle of transformation. Food becomes fuel, fuel becomes thought, thought becomes motion. And yet the atoms themselves, the fundamental building blocks, remain restless, vibrating in their own rhythm, unaffected by the larger story. Inside your muscles, atoms vibrate. Inside your bones, atoms vibrate. Inside your blood, atoms vibrate. You are made of constant motion, a living echo of the universe's endless dance. Even the air around you, invisible and weightless, is alive with this restlessness. Each breath you take in is filled with nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, all of them atoms in constant collision. They drift into your lungs, collide with your blood, pass energy into your cells, and return again to the open sky. Breath is a cycle of energy, an exchange between your body and the universe, reminding you with every inhale that nothing stops. The air you exhale tonight may travel across oceans, may swirl into storms, may be taken in by a tree or another being far away. Your atoms do not end with you. They continue their restless journey, dancing into other lives, other times. What makes this endless dance so wondrous is that it is both fragile and eternal. A single atom may live for billions of years without changing, carrying the same restless hum across cosmic ages. The hydrogen in your body is older than the Earth itself, born in the fires of stars that lived and died long before our sun was born. Those atoms have never stopped moving, never stopped vibrating, never stopped carrying the signature of energy. They pass through you now, And one day they will pass into soil, into rivers, into air, into stars again. They will never stop. They cannot stop. They are part of a dance that is older than memory and larger than time. So when you sit quietly and think you are still, remember that inside you and around you the universe continues to tremble, to shift, to move. Stillness is only an illusion painted over endless motion. You are never separate from this truth. You are part of it, built from it, carried within it. The dance of atoms does not ask for your attention, but it surrounds you all the same. Every breath, every heartbeat, every flicker of warmth is its song. Energy never ends. It only moves. It only flows. And in the quiet hum of your own body, you can almost feel the universe whispering that nothing ever truly stops. If you lean deeper into this truth, the endless dance of atoms becomes not only a scientific fact, but also a soft reflection on the nature of time. Every second of your life is woven from this motion, a choreography older than memory. The clock on the wall may tick to measure time, but atoms keep their own rhythm, vibrating with constancy that defines the very idea of temperature, of heat, of existence. When physicists say that absolute zero, the coldest temperature possible, marks a place where atomic motion would stop, even then they whisper that it cannot be fully reached. For even at the brink of stillness, there is a residue of motion, a quantum hum that cannot be silenced. It is as if the universe insists nothing ever fully rests. Not stars, not stones, not you. This idea that atoms never stop threads into the vast fabric of energy itself. For what is energy but the measure of motion, the shifting of particles, the changing of states? Energy does not begin and end, it transforms. A stone warmed by sunlight gathers photons into its atoms, causing them to move faster, to vibrate with greater strength. At night, when the sun sets, that same stone releases its warmth back into the air, into your hand if you touch it, into the ground beneath it. The energy is not lost. It has changed shape, left one home and entered another, carrying with it the unbroken law of conservation. This law is not cold or mechanical. It is poetic, a promise whispered by the universe that nothing of essence is ever wasted. Consider the food you eat, the simple bread or fruit placed gently in your hands. Each bite carries the sunlight of past days, captured by leaves, transformed into sugars, locked into fibers of plant and grain. When you eat, you do not merely consume, you inherit. You inherit the energy of sunlight, translated through roots and soil and air, transformed into the gentle motion of your muscles, the spark of your thoughts, the warmth of your skin. That energy does not end with you. When you move, speak, or even rest, you release it outward again. Your voice sends vibrations into the air, your body radiates warmth into the room. Your breath carries carbon that plants will take in tomorrow. This is the circle of motion, never ending, always flowing, always shared. When you think of the stars above you, the endless night scattered with distant light, you are looking at the purest story of energy in motion. Those beams of starlight began their journey millions, even billions of years ago, travelling without pause across the cold stretches of space. They did not stop when the star that birthed them died. They did not end when time passed. They continue, carrying their energy until they reach your eyes, where their journey becomes vision, becomes wonder, becomes thought. Even after such an unimaginable passage of time, their motion remains unbroken. The photons that touch your skin at night have crossed the gulf of the cosmos to remind you that energy never sleeps. But the story does not end with distant stars. Even here in the ground beneath your feet, atoms tell their tale of motion. Deep within the earth, in the molten heart hidden far below, energy moves as heat. It stirs the liquid rock. It drives the shifting of continents. It breathes into volcanoes and earthquakes. This energy has its origins in the birth of our planet, in radioactive decay, in the ancient collisions that forged Earth itself. It's been moving ever since, shaping mountains, carving rivers, and forming the very landscapes we call home. You may look at a mountain and imagine it eternal, but it is alive with motion, built by energy, worn by energy, destined to change again. The dance continues even at the scale of worlds. Scientists often describe this endless transformation as the first law of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, it only shifts form. But to feel it in your life, you must notice the subtle moments. When a bird takes flight, the chemical energy in its muscles transforms into the graceful motion of wings, into the lift that carries it skyward, into the sound of air stirred by feathers. When you strike a match, the stored energy in chemicals ignites into heat, into light, into smoke that drifts upward. When water falls from a mountain stream, its potential energy becomes kinetic, becomes sound, becomes mist rising into the air. These are not separate stories. They are one story told in countless ways. Energy moves, energy transforms, but it does not end. Even the smallest actions carry this truth. When you lift a stone and let it drop, you are part of this exchange. Your muscles used chemical energy, the stone gained potential energy, the drop turned it into kinetic energy, and the impact released sound and heat. That sound travelled as waves in the air, reaching ears and fading into vibrations too soft to hear, but still alive. That heat warmed the ground by the smallest degree. Nothing was wasted. Nothing vanished. The chain continued, and if you follow the trail far enough, you see that the very energy you used in your muscles once came from sunlight captured by plants, from air and water drawn into life. The chain is infinite, looping back into itself, never broken. The beauty of this never-ending flow is that it connects everything. You're not separate from the stars, from the oceans, from the air that brushes past your skin. The energy that stirs inside you once lived in distant places. The calcium in your bones was forged in the heart of ancient stars, carried through supernovae, drifting through space until it joined the earth and became part of you. The warmth in your breath once lit the skies of the sun, once powered the green of leaves, once fed the soil. You are made of motion that is older than your name, older than humanity, older than Earth itself. To realize this is to soften into wonder. You are not a fixed being. You're a current in an endless river of energy. Even in the coldest reaches of space where light seems to fade and silence reigns, there is still motion. Physicists speak of the cosmic microwave background, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang, still shimmering through the universe. This light, stretched thin across billions of years, continues to move, continues to remind us that the universe itself began in energy, in motion, in an expansion that has never ceased. The galaxies drift apart, the stars ignite and die, the atoms hum with vibration. All of it whispers the same truth. There is no final rest, no ending silence. The story goes on, reshaping itself across time. And what of you sitting here now? Your own body is a crossroads of countless streams of energy. You eat and sunlight flows into you. You breathe and the air carries motion into your blood. You think and electrochemical signals spark across neurons, tiny bursts of energy mapping thought into being. Even when you sleep, your cells repair, your heart beats, your lungs draw air. You are never truly still. You are energy moving in human form, a dance of atoms continuing its ancient rhythm. When you laugh, when you dream, when you touch another, you share that motion outward again, reminding the world around you that you are part of its flow. This is why nothing ever stops, because you cannot be separated from the motion of atoms, from the current of energy, from the law of transformation. You are woven into it, sustained by it, carried by it. The chair you sit upon, the air you breathe, the thoughts drifting through your mind, all of them are the restless hum of energy in motion. It is a gentle truth, not a burden. It is a lullaby sung by the universe. You are part of something unbroken, something that has never ceased since the first moment of creation. And even when you close your eyes, the atoms within you will continue their endless dance, carrying you forward into the quiet eternity of motion. The story of atoms is not only about their endless vibration, but about the way that vibration writes the future. Every motion, every transfer of energy carries consequences that ripple outward, shaping the world you see and the life you live. A single photon of sunlight striking a leaf begins a cascade of events. Electrons jumping, molecules rearranging, sugars forming, life growing. That same leaf feeds animals, those animals feed others, and eventually you sit with bread in your hand, tasting the quiet journey of energy that began long before you noticed. All of this is carried on the trembling of atoms, on motion that is too small to see but too powerful to deny. When you understand this, you realize that the dance of atoms is not abstract. It is the thread that ties your story to the story of the universe. This understanding softens how you see stillness. When you sit quietly, you are not escaping the motion of the world, you are joining it more fully. Your heart continues to beat, your blood continues to flow, your neurons continue to fire in delicate bursts of electricity. Even as you slow your breathing, atoms are still rushing through your lungs, colliding with your blood, carrying oxygen to each waiting cell. The stillness you feel is only the slowing of your awareness, a tuning into the softer vibrations that have always been present. You're not apart from the dance, you're a partner in it, moving even when you feel still, vibrating even when you feel silent. If you travel deeper into thought, you may begin to sense the poetry of entropy, the second great law of thermodynamics. It tells us that energy spreads, that order becomes disorder, that everything tends toward dispersion. At first, it may sound like a story of loss, but within it lies a quieter beauty. Entropy means that motion is shared, that warmth moves outward, that no place remains untouched by the flow of energy. The cup of tea you hold in your hands cools, not because energy disappears, but because it moves outward, into the room, into the air, into the walls, until balance is found. This is how the universe breathes, always dispersing, always sharing, always carrying motion into new spaces. It is not an ending, but a reminder that everything is connected through the endless spread of energy. This spread of energy shapes even the stars. A star burns because of nuclear fusion, atoms of hydrogen pressed so tightly together that they fuse into helium, releasing light and heat that travel across space. This light warms planets, feeds ecosystems, creates the conditions for life. But over time, even stars must share their energy, burning through their fuel, dispersing their heat until they collapse or transform. Some become white dwarfs, cooling slowly for billions of years. Others explode in supernovae, scattering heavy elements into space, seeding the cosmos with the building blocks of future worlds. In both fates, energy does not vanish. It continues, reshaped, spread outward, into galaxies, into dust, to atoms that one day form rivers and bones and breath. The end of a star is not the end of motion. It is the beginning of countless new dances. When you look at your own body with this perspective, you begin to see yourself as a temporary constellation of atoms, gathered for a moment in time to create the shape you call you. Those atoms were not born with you, and they will not end with you. They were forged in stars, cycled through oceans, carried by winds, and folded into food. They came together to create your form, your thoughts, your breath. One day they will move outward again into soil, into sky, into new beings, not yet imagined. You're not a fixed object. You're a flowing arrangement, a pattern in the endless movement of matter and energy. To realize this is not frightening, it is peaceful. It means that you are part of something that does not end. This perspective offers comfort when you think about endings. When a flame flickers out, it has not vanished. Its heat lingers in the air. Its light has already travelled outward into the world. Its atoms continue in other forms. When a leaf falls from a tree, it has not stopped. Its atoms will feed the soil, nourish the roots, become part of new growth. When a life ends, the body is not erased. The atoms remain, joining the cycle of earth and air, the energy released into the world. Nothing is lost. Nothing truly stops. Endings are transformations, as natural as the heartbeat of the universe. To see this is to see continuity in all things, to recognize that the dance of atoms is also the dance of life and death, of change and renewal. Imagine the ocean, waves rising and falling, never ceasing, never resting. You may stand on the shore and think of the ocean as endless, but it is the atoms of water moving with energy that create this impression. The waves are not separate from the wind not separate from the heat of the sun not separate from the nuclear fire in its core. Each motion is part of a larger chain flowing endlessly. This is the same chain that binds you to the cosmos. Your breath is not separate from the air not separate from the trees not separate from the sun. All of it is atoms vibrating, exchanging energy, moving in the endless rhythm of existence. To feel this is to feel yourself as a wave upon the larger ocean, never truly separate, never truly still. In the quiet of night, when the world seems hushed, this truth becomes even more gentle. You lie down, you close your eyes, and yet your body hums with motion. Your heart continues its steady rhythm. Your lungs rise and fall. Your brain drifts into dreams carried by electrical signals that move like whispers across neurons. Outside, the earth spins, the stars move across the sky, galaxies drift in cosmic tides. You are part of it all, a single note in the symphony of energy that has played since the beginning of time. Sleep does not remove you from the dance, it carries you deeper into it, into the rhythms that sustain life. When you wake, you are still within it, still carried by it, still alive because nothing ever stops. So when you wonder about stillness, remember this. The atoms of your body, of the chair you sit upon, of the air that moves through your lungs, are never still. They vibrate, they hum, they share their energy with one another in endless motion. You are not separate from this. You are built from it, sustained by it, dissolved back into it when your time here is done. Energy cannot be destroyed. It only changes form. It only continues its journey. To know this is to know peace, because it means that you are part of something infinite. The dance of atoms will go on long after your name is forgotten, just as it began long before you were born. And within that dance, nothing is wasted, nothing is lost, nothing ever truly stops. Fire is often thought of as a fleeting thing, a brief glow that appears and vanishes. But if you look closely, you will see that fire is not a beginning or an ending. It is a transformation, a movement of energy that has been travelling for billions of years. From the stars above to the warmth of your breath, fire never truly sleeps. It may dim in one place only to awaken in another, carrying the same eternal energy through countless forms. It is the story of heat, of light, of life itself. When you strike a match, when you watch a flame flicker, you are watching the same energy that burns within the heart of stars, softened into a glow you can hold in your hand. This is the fire that never ends, the fire that lives in every atom and every breath. The flame that warms you tonight is not born in that moment. Its energy comes from the sun, carried through leaves, transformed by photosynthesis into sugars, locked into wood or oil or grain. When the flame rises, it is the return of sunlight, freed once more to move into air, into warmth, into your skin. You're not watching destruction, but release. The atoms of the wood are not lost, they are rearranged, their energy flowing outward in new forms. The carbon joins oxygen to drift into the sky. The heat spreads into air, into walls, into your hands. The light travels outward, touching your eyes, touching the ground, touching the night. Nothing ends, nothing vanishes. Fire is only the visible shimmer of energy returning to motion. If you gaze into a fire long enough, you begin to notice its restless nature. Flames do not hold still, they sway, curl, leap upward as if they are alive. Yet their motion is only atoms dancing, molecules colliding, bonds breaking and reforming in endless chains. Fire is chemistry in motion, a release of energy stored long ago. The warmth you feel on your face is the vibration, molecules, jostling against one another, sharing their movement with your skin. The light you see is photons released from excited atoms, carrying energy outward in delicate waves. Even the smoke rising upward is motion, atoms carried aloft, drifting into air, joining the wider sky. To see fires, see motion unveiled, the ceaseless transfer of energy made visible. But fire does not only live in the wood of a flame, it lives in the stars above you. The sun that lights your days is a fire beyond imagining, a sphere of nuclear fusion where atoms of hydrogen are pressed together so tightly that they become helium, releasing energy in the process. This energy radiates outward as light and heat, filling the solar system, touching planets, stirring winds, moving oceans, feeding forests. Without this stellar fire, there would be no life, no warmth, no motion on Earth. Every meal you eat, every breath you take, every thought you think is powered by the sun's fire. Even when you light a candle, you're not creating something new. You're borrowing from the great fire in the sky, carrying its warmth into a smaller, gentler glow. The stars themselves remind us that fire is eternal in motion. A single star may burn for billions of years, its nuclear fire steady and constant, shaping the fate of planets that circle it. When its fuel is exhausted, it does not end quietly. Some stars swell into giants, shedding layers into space. Others collapse into brilliant supernovae, scattering heavy elements, iron, calcium, gold into the cosmos. From this scattering, new stars are born, new worlds are formed, new lives emerge. The fire of one star becomes the seeds of countless others. It is never lost, never silenced. It shifts form, transforms into new brightness, new warmth, new life. Even the atoms in your own body carry the memory of that fire. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the carbon in your breath, all of it was once part of a star's burning heart. This is why the fire within you is as ancient as the cosmos. Every cell in your body depends on chemical fire. Within mitochondria, the tiny powerhouses of your cells, sugars are broken down with oxygen, releasing energy that fuels thought, motion, and warmth. This cellular fire is quieter than a candle, invisible to the eye, but no less constant. It is why your body is warm, why your heart beats, why your mind drifts into dreams. Every breath you take feeds this fire with oxygen. Every meal you eat provides its fuel. You're not apart from fire, you're alive because of it. You carry it within you, a glow inherited from stars, sustained by Earth, passed onward into every action you take. Even in the coldest night, when the world feels still, fire continues. Deep within the Earth, heat rises from radioactive decay, from the restless motion of atoms breaking apart. This geothermal fire drives the shifting of continents, the eruption of volcanoes, the rising of hot springs. It is the Earth's hidden warmth, moving upward from its core, shaping landscapes and climates. Above, in the sky, stars burn without pause, their light filling the darkness. Inside you, cells continue their quiet combustion, sustaining life. Fire never sleeps. It only changes its form, hiding and revealing itself in cycles as old as time. To see fire in this way is to see continuity. The flame of a candle may vanish, but the heat lingers, the light travels, the atoms disperse into new bonds. The fire of the sun may one day fade, but its energy will already have spread into countless lives, into the bones of planets, into the hearts of new stars. The fire of your own body will one day release into soil, into air, into other beings who will carry it forward. There is no final extinguishing. There is only transformation. Fire is not an end, but a bridge, carrying energy across forms, across lives, across ages. It is the thread that weaves stars into soil, breath into bone, flame into memory. So when you hold your hand near a flame, remember that you are touching more than heat. You are touching the memory of sunlight stored in plants, the breath of stars carried through time, the quiet law that energy does not end. The fire that glows before you is the same fire that has burned since the universe began, softened into a form you can see and feel. It is the fire that never sleeps, the fire that never stops. It is within you, around you, above you. It will outlive you, transform you, carry you forward into the endless motion of existence. Fire is not fragile, fire is forever. When you look at fire not as destruction but as transformation, you begin to understand how deeply it is woven into the patterns of life. Fire moves in circles, never truly ceasing, only shifting from one form into another. A tree grows tall in a forest, its trunk filled with sugars captured from the sun. One day lightning strikes and the tree burns. To the eye it seems like loss, but what is really happening is exchange. The fire releases the sunlight that has been waiting inside the wood, sending it back into air as warmth and light. The smoke carries atoms into the sky, where they will drift, join with clouds and return as rain. From that rain, new trees will grow, carrying the memory of the old. Fire is not an ending, it is a chapter in the longer story of renewal. The forests of Earth have known this cycle for millions of years. Fire sweeps across grasslands and woodlands, reshaping them, clearing the old, making space for the new. Seeds that will not open without heat wait patiently in the soil for fire's touch. Some plants depend on flames, their survival tied to the cleansing power of burning. Animals flee, but they return to landscapes renewed, filled with young shoots and fresh growth. The ashes become nourishment for the soil, the nutrients of one generation feeding the next. Fire, often feared as destructive, is in truth a gardener, pruning and renewing life with every sweep. Without it, forests would choke, growth would stall, and the balance of ecosystems would falter. In fire's rhythm, life learns resilience. This cycle extends beyond forests. In the hearth of your home, when you warm yourself by a fire, you're joining in this rhythm. The wood in the flames once drank sunlight, drew minerals from soil, breathed carbon from air. Now, in burning, it returns its energy outward, into your body, into the room around you. You feel its warmth, you see its light, you breathe its smoke. You are part of the circle, inheriting energy from sun to tree, to flame to skin. This is not destruction, it is passage. It is the movement of energy through forms, a reminder that every warmth you feel is borrowed from a chain that stretches back to the stars. Beyond Earth, the same truth glows in the cosmos. Stars, vast furnaces of nuclear fire, burn with unimaginable heat, releasing light and warmth into the cold of space. This fire feeds galaxies, powers planetary systems, nurtures the chemistry of life. Yet stars too must transform. As they exhaust their fuel, they swell into giants or collapse into remnants. Their fire becomes new beginnings, supernovae scattering elements, nebulae glowing with the birth of new stars. Even black holes, which seem like endings, hum with energy, bending space and time, radiating subtle whispers of heat. The fire of the universe never truly goes out. It flows from one form into another, shifting its rhythm but never ceasing. Inside you, this same fire is present in quieter ways. Each heartbeat is powered by the release of energy in your cells, a chemical fire hidden in microscopic spaces. Sugars and oxygen meet in mitochondria, and out of their meeting comes warmth, motion, thought. You may not see flames in your chest, but the process is the same as burning wood or glowing stars. Bonds breaking, energy released, life carried forward. The warmth you feel in your skin, the energy that allows you to walk, to speak, to dream. It is fire in its gentlest form. It is not dramatic, but it is constant. Even as you sleep, the fire continues, sustaining you with the quiet persistence of ancient laws. Think of how this fire connects you to everything around you. The warmth in your hand as you hold a cup of tea comes from water heated by fire, whether from electricity, from wood, or from gas. That energy, in turn, traces back to fossil fuels formed from plants that drank sunlight millions of years ago, or to modern forests, or to the fire of stars powering our technologies. When you walk outside and feel the sun on your face, you are touched by fire from a star 93 million miles away. When you breathe, you take in oxygen that fuels the fire of your cells, oxygen released by plants that themselves carry fire from the sun. You are not apart from this chain. You are a living flame in the greater fire of existence. Entropy plays its role here too, reminding us that fire spreads energy outward. The warmth of a flame does not remain in one place. It disperses, filling the room, moving into air, radiating into night. This is not waste, it is sharing. Energy cannot stay locked forever. It moves, it expands, it seeks balance. Fire is one of the clearest expressions of this truth. The heat of a campfire warms not only those who sit nearby, but also the night air, the soil, the stars above. Nothing hoards energy forever. Fire teaches us that giving and spreading are part of the rhythm of life. What seems to leave us continues elsewhere, still alive, still moving, still part of the endless dance. There is a softness in seeing fire this way. It is no longer only a flicker that threatens to vanish, but a companion that reminds us of continuity. The flame you watch now is not isolated. It is the echo of countless other fires before it and the seed of fires to come. It carries the memory of sunlight from distant seasons, the story of trees that grew and fell, the persistence of energy moving through forms. When the flame fades, the warmth it gave you remains. The atoms it released continue their journey. The energy it shared ripples outward. Nothing is lost. Fire never sleeps, only changes its form, waiting to return again. Even in the vastness of space where cold and silence seem absolute, fire persists in subtler ways. The faint glow of background radiation, the aftertaste of the Big Bang, hums through the universe as the last whisper of the first fire. Galaxies are seeded with stars burning at every stage of life. Planets carry hidden warmth in their cores, sustaining motion long after their surfaces cool. Comets release tails of fire as they near suns, their frozen matter transformed into glowing light. Everywhere you look, the story of fire continues, in bright blazes or in quiet embers. It is not a story that ends. It is one that evolves, reshaping itself across time and space. To live with this awareness is to see your own fire differently. You are not a separate spark that will one day vanish. You are part of the great fire of existence, carried in atoms, sustained in breath, released in warmth. Your laughter, your motion, your thoughts are fire made visible in human form. When your body cools, when your flame seems to fade, the energy within you does not end. It continues in soil, in air, in the lives that follow. Just as stars pass their fire into new generations, you too are part of that passage. Fire is not an ending, it is inheritance. And in that inheritance, nothing ever stops. When you sit with the thought of fire, you may begin to sense that it is more than flame, more than heat, more than light. Fire is the expression of a law written into the very fabric of the universe. That energy does not rest, that motion does not vanish, that transformation is the constant pulse of existence. A flame flickers for a moment, but the energy that fuels it continues long after the flame is gone. The warmth in your hands becomes motion in the air. The light in your eyes travels outward into space, joining the vast sea of photons drifting between stars. The smoke rising upward carries atoms into new journeys. Nothing is lost. Fire teaches this lesson in every flicker, every glow, every ember. It is never destruction, only passage. Look deeper, and you will see that fire is not bound to wood, to oil, to gas. It is in every heartbeat, every thought, every star. The electricity in your brain is a cousin of flame, signals carried by ions, sparks of energy leaping across synapses. The warmth of your skin is fire held gently in flesh, fueled by the combustion of sugars in your cells. Even the quiet glow of life itself is a form of fire, a release of energy carried forward from breath to breath, meal to meal, thought to thought. You are a flame that walks, speaks, dreams. To live is to burn softly, to release energy in delicate sparks that illuminate the path of your days. The universe itself is a great fire, begun in the brilliance of the Big Bang, still burning in stars, still glowing in cosmic background lights, still unfolding in the expansion of galaxies. That first fear has never gone out. It has only spread, transformed, diversified into countless forms. The stars are its flames, the planets its embers, the living beings its sparks. You are part of that same fire, carried forward in atoms, in breath, in thought. When you look at the night sky, you are not only looking at distant suns, you are looking at the reflection of the fire that also burns within you. The connection is not metaphorical but literal. The same processes that power stars power the chemistry of your cells. The same elements forged in stellar fire shape your body. The fire of the cosmos is your fire too. This understanding transforms how you see endings. A candle burning to its base is not gone. It has spread its energy into air, into warmth, into memory. A forest fire sweeping across trees does not erase life. It prepares the ground for renewal, spreads nutrients, releases seeds. A star collapsing into darkness does not extinguish. It creates the elements for new stars, new worlds, new beings. Even your own flame, when it seems to fade, will not vanish. The atoms that hold your warmth, your motion, your thoughts will continue their journey into other forms. Fire is continuity, not cessation. It is a reminder that the essence of life is not held in permanence, but in passage. Think of a single spark struck from stone. It glows for a moment, then fades. But the energy that carried it forward is not gone. It disperses into heat, into light, into the molecules around it. Multiply this by stars, by galaxies, by lifetimes, and you see the truth. The universe is a fire that never sleeps. It flickers in different places, in different forms, but it is never absent. It may quiet itself into embers, but even embers glow, waiting to rise again. To understand this is to see life not as a fragile flame that will one day vanish, but as part of an eternal fire that cannot end. There is comfort in this. The warmth of fire has always been a shelter for humankind. In ancient times, our ancestors gathered around flames for safety, for food, for companionship. Fire was their light in the darkness, their warmth in the cold, their signal of continuity. But what they saw as protection was also reflection. The fire they tended outside was the same fire burning within them, the same fire burning in the stars above. To gather around flame was to gather around the universal truth of energy in motion. We continue that ritual today, in candles lit at night, in hearths that warm our homes, in the silent fire of electricity flowing through wires. Every flicker of flame connects us back to that ancient truth. We are sustained by fire, we are part of fire, we are never without it. When you close your eyes and imagine stillness, remember that fire continues even then. Your heart beats, your lungs draw breath, your brain sparks with dreams. The stars above burn in silence, sending light across galaxies. The earth beneath you holds its molten fire, stirring continents and seas. Even in the quietest moment, fire does not sleep. It is present in every movement, every thought, every glow. To live with this awareness is to soften into the rhythm of continuity, to see that nothing truly ends. Fire is patient. Fire is constant. Fire is the promise that energy moves forever. So when the flame before you fades, do not think of it as gone. Think of it as transformed. Its warmth is already moving outward. Its light is already on its way through the cosmos. Its atoms already joining new stories. Fire never stops. It is the thread that binds you to the stars, the warmth that lives in your chest, the glow that will continue long after your own flame has passed into other forms. Fire is not fragile. Fire is forever. And in knowing this, you can rest in the gentle truth that nothing ever truly stops. The fire continues, and so do you, in forms unending, in energy unbroken, in the eternal glow of motion. Beneath the surface of everything you see, there is an ocean you cannot escape. It is not made of water, yet it carries waves. It is not bound to the shore, yet it stretches farther than the mind can hold. This is the ocean of motion, the endless rhythm of atoms, particles, and energy that surrounds you, moves through you, and sustains you. When you sit quietly and believe you are still, you are floating upon this invisible sea. Your body is a vessel made of vibrations, carried by currents that began at the birth of the universe. The motion is constant, and it is vast. You cannot step out of it, for you are part of it. To feel this truth is to realize that life itself is a tide that never ebbs, a wave that never ends. Consider the air around you. It feels light, transparent, almost like nothing at all. Yet it is filled with molecules, each moving ceaselessly, colliding, drifting, spinning. When you breathe in, you do not take in emptiness, but a storm of motion. Each inhale brings nitrogen and oxygen molecules crashing gently into your lungs, bouncing from one surface to another, transferring their restless energy into your blood. They continue into your cells, where their motion fuels the quiet fire that sustains life. Then, with each exhale, you release molecules that join the greater ocean once more. Your breath is a wave in this ocean of motion, an exchange between body and atmosphere. a reminder that stillness is only an illusion. Water itself offers a clearer picture. Rivers rush, oceans swell, raindrops fall, glaciers creep, all forms of motion tied together in one great cycle. A drop of water may fall from a cloud, land in a river, flow into the sea, evaporate back into air, and return again as rain. This journey may take days or centuries, but the motion never ceases. Even a frozen lake is alive with vibration, its molecules trembling in patterns that remain invisible to the eye. Heat may slow them, cold may stiffen them, but motion never stops. The entire hydrological cycle of Earth is a visible echo of the deeper truth. All matter is restless, all energy is flowing, all existence is carried by currents that never sleep. If you look at yourself as part of this ocean, you will see that you, too, are built of waves. The beat of your heart is a rhythm upon this sea. The pulse of blood through your veins is a current. The signals firing in your brain are sparks that ripple like lightning across a restless sky. Even your thoughts are waves, electrical impulses dancing in patterns that rise and fall like tides. You're not apart from the ocean of motion. You are a wave within it, shaped by its rhythms, returning your own motion back into the whole. The energy that carries you is the same energy that stirs oceans, the same energy that drives winds, the same energy that lights stars. Scientists describe this endless motion with the laws of thermodynamics, but to feel it is to sense poetry. Energy cannot be destroyed, it only flows, it only transforms. You can trace its movement from a falling leaf to the ripple it sends across a pond, from the warmth of the sun into the food that feeds your body, from the spark of fire into the comfort of heat. The ocean of motion connects every event, every being, every breath. It is not bound by borders, not halted by time. The molecules in the air you breathe today may once have been breathed by trees 1,000 years ago, by animals now gone, by people far away. The motion carries on, weaving you into the same tapestry as everything else. The smallest scales reveal the ocean most clearly. In the quantum world, particles do not sit still. Even when cooled near absolute zero, when all seems frozen, they still hum with a jitter called zero-point energy. This is the whisper of the universe itself, a reminder that motion cannot be erased. Atoms vibrate, electrons jump, photons race at the speed of light. These motions are the ripples of reality, the waves upon which everything rides. The ocean is not always visible, but it is always present, filling even the quietest emptiness with restless life. At the largest scales, galaxies move through space as though they too are caught in tides. Stars orbit their centers. Galaxies drift apart, clusters swirl together in gravitational dances that last billions of years. Space itself is expanding, carrying galaxies outward like boats upon an infinite tide. This cosmic motion is not something you can stop or even slow. It carries you with it, even now, as the Earth spins, as the planet orbits the Sun, as the Sun orbits the Milky Way. You are adrift upon currents larger than imagination, part of a voyage that began in the dawn of creation and will continue long after you are gone. When you place your hand upon your chest and feel your heartbeat, you are sensing one small rhythm in this greater ocean. The motion of blood, of air, of energy moving cell to cell. All of it mirrors the larger currents of Earth and cosmos. The waves within you and the waves outside of you are not separate. They are one motion, one ocean, one endless flow. To recognize this is to dissolve the boundary between self and universe, to see that you are not standing apart from existence but carried within it. You are the ocean, and the ocean is you. Its motion is your motion, its waves your waves, its endlessness your endlessness. Now imagine lying on the shore, listening to the sound of waves breaking. That rhythm is not only the sea, it is the echo of every rhythm in the universe. The tides respond to the pull of the moon, which itself moves in orbit around Earth, which itself moves around the sun, which itself moves around the galaxy. Every wave that reaches the shore is connected to these larger motions, to cosmic rhythms stretching across time and space. The sound of the sea is the sound of continuity, the whisper that nothing is ever still. You are listening not only to water, but to the voice of motion itself, carried into your ears through the endless cycles of energy. Even Slesets carries this ocean. Sit in a quiet room and you may think all is still, but beneath the celestins, atoms move, air molecules collide softly, your own body hums with vibration, the earth itself trembles with seismic whispers too faint for your senses. Silence is never true absence. It is only the softest form of motion, the lull between louder waves. The ocean of motion does not cease when you stop hearing it. It continues always, waiting patiently, carrying you forward even when you are unaware. The truth is simple yet infinite. You cannot escape this ocean because you are part of it. Your body is built of its waves, your life carried by its currents, your thoughts shaped by its rhythms. When you move, you create ripples. When you soul, you send vibrations into the air. When you breathe, you join the tide of gases that circle the earth. Even when you rest, the waves continue within you and around you. You are never still, and you are never alone. You are the ocean of motion, a single wave in the infinite sea, moving endlessly in harmony with all that exists. The ocean of motion becomes clearer the more deeply you look into the exchanges that shape life. Motion is not random but woven into cycles, repeating patterns that echo across scales. Consider the wind. It seems invisible and fleeting, yet it is born from the sun's warmth striking earth unevenly, heating air and water differently, causing pressure to shift and currents to rise. A breeze brushing against your skin is not a simple event, but the outcome of vast streams of energy moving through atmosphere, circling the globe in patterns that span continents and oceans. Each gust is part of an endless flow, driven by the same fire that lights the sun, carried by the same atoms that drifted through stars. You cannot touch the wind without touching the history of motion itself. The same is true of water. Waves on the sea are not isolated. They are echoes of distant winds, themselves echoes of solar heat, themselves echoes of cosmic fire. A single wave rolling toward shore carries with it energy that may have travelled across entire oceans. When it meets the land, it transforms again, its force breaking upon rocks, stirring sand, lifting shells, shaping coasts. Yet the motion is not lost. It continues in turbulence, in sound, in the rising mist of spray. Even when the wave is gone, its energy lives on in countless smaller ripples. This is the signature of the ocean of motion. Nothing truly stops. One form of movement leads into another, a seamless chain that never breaks. You are part of this chain. The water you drink today was once part of ancient seas, rivers, storms. Each molecule of H2O has cycled through countless forms, evaporating, condensing, freezing, flowing. Some of the water in your body may have quenched the thirst of animals long gone, or flowed through forests no longer standing, or fallen as rain upon deserts before humans existed. Now it flows within you, circulating in blood, bathing cells, carrying nutrients. When it leaves your body, it will join the larger cycle once more, returning to air, soil, river, sea. You are not separate from this ocean of motion. You are a current within it, shaped by it, giving yourself back to it with every breath and drop of sweat. The soil beneath your feet is also alive with this motion. Rocks weather slowly, their atoms loosened by wind, water and time. Minerals dissolve into soil, are drawn up by roots, transformed into stems and leaves. Those plants are eaten by animals, their atoms moving again into new bodies, into new lives. The ground you walk upon is not still, it is a slow river of matter, shifting and cycling through time. Even mountains, which seem immovable, are rising and falling in slow dances, lifted by the earth's hidden heat, eroded by rain and ice. Given enough time, every stone becomes sand, every peak becomes valley, every atom journeys onward. The earth itself is part of this ocean of motion, its crust drifting, its core churning, its landscapes reshaping in endless flow. Within you, the same principle holds. Blood moves constantly, carrying oxygen and nutrients. Nerve signals travel as electrical impulses, sparks of energy rushing from one end of the body to another. Hormones drift like messages in a current, guiding growth, sleep, thought, and feeling. Even the beating of your heart is a wave, sending ripples of pressure through arteries and veins. Each moment of your life is a chorus of motions, large and small, layered into a harmony that sustains you. And when you exhale, when you move, when you speak, you release part of that motion outward, joining again with the greater ocean. You are not an island, you are a tide. The motion of Earth itself carries you onward in ways you rarely notice. As you stand still, the planet spins beneath your feet, turning once each day, carrying you around its axis at hundreds of meters per second. At the same time, Earth orbits the Sun, racing through space at nearly 30 kilometers every second. The solar system drifts around the center of the Milky Way, completing one orbit every 200 million years. Even galaxies themselves are not fixed, but pulled by gravity into clusters, streaming across the expanding fabric of space. At every level, from the spin of electrons to the drift of galaxies, motion is unbroken. To live is to be carried by these tides, whether you notice them or not. This is why no moment is ever truly still. When you pause and close your eyes, thinking you are motionless, you are moving faster than you realize. The molecules in your body vibrate with heat. Your heart beats. Your lungs rise and fall. The Earth spins, the solar system drifts, the galaxy swirls. You're a passenger in countless journeys at once, a wave carried within waves, a current within currents. Stillness is a perspective, not a reality. At its core, everything flows. To breathe is to join the ocean of motion. To live is to be part of its endless tide. The laws of physics capture this truth in numbers and equations, but the essence is simpler. Energy spreads, motion continues, nothing is lost. Entropy, the tendency of energy to disperse, is not an end but a process of sharing. Heat flows from warm places to cooler ones. Waves spread into silence, currents distribute themselves until balance is reached. Yet even in balance, the motion continues, reshaping itself, waiting for new sparks, new rhythms. Entropy is the ocean smoothing itself out, but the ocean remains. The motion does not stop, it only shifts into subtler forms, quieter ripples, longer tides. Nothing is wasted, and nothing is erased. When you consider this ocean of motion, you may begin to feel less separate from the world. The breath you take is not yours alone, it is shared with trees, with rivers, with the sky. The food you eat is not simply yours, it is part of cycles that began in soil, in sunlight, in ancient stars. The warmth you feel in your skin is not only yours, it is borrowed from the fire of the sun, carried forward in countless forms. You are a traveller within the ocean, but you are also the ocean itself. Every atom of you is part of its waves, every thought part of its current. To realise this is to soften into connection, to see that you belong not apart from the world, but within it, carried by its endless flow. The ocean of motion is not something to resist. It is something to rest into. Like floating upon waves, your life is sustained by currents larger than yourself. You do not have to control them. You only have to join them, to breathe with them, to move with them, to trust that you are already carried, already part of the tide, already sustained by its flow. This is the gift of the ocean of motion. It is not separate from you. It is you, and it will continue long after you are gone, carrying your atoms, your energy, your essence into new forms, new currents, new tides without end. The ocean of motion has no shore, no boundary where it ends. It stretches from the smallest vibrations of particles to the largest movements of galaxies, carrying everything within its tides. To see this clearly is to understand that you are not standing upon the ocean but made of it. Every heartbeat is a wave in this sea, every thought a ripple, every breath a current. Even when you rest, the ocean moves within you. Your blood flows, your cells exchange energy, your atoms vibrate with quiet persistence. The stillness you feel is only the surface. Beneath, the waves continue, unbroken and eternal. Think of a leaf falling from a tree. To the eye, it drifts downward, carried gently by the wind. But that simple fall is part of countless motions layered together. The sun's fire created the sugars that built the leaf. The tree's roots drew water upward, feeding its growth. The wind that moves the leaf was stirred by uneven warmth across the earth. Gravity pulls it downward, the earth's mass tugging it toward the ground. When it lands, it begins to decay, its atoms returning to soil, joining new cycles of growth. The leaf's fall is not a single event, but a chapter in the ocean of motion, a wave that continues long after it touches the ground. This same layering is present in every action you take. When you walk, your muscles release energy stored from food that captured sunlight that travelled from the sun. The warmth of your body spreads into the air. The sound of your steps travels as waves. The breath you exhale joins the wind. None of it stops with you. Each movement extends outward, creating ripples that merge into larger currents. The energy of your body is not contained but shared, part of the same flow that moves rivers, winds, and stars. You are not the end of motion but one of its expressions, a temporary pattern formed upon the surface of the sea. Even thought itself is motion. Neurons fire in bursts of electricity, chemical messengers cross synapses, networks of signals rise and fall like tides. Your memories, your imagination, your dreams, all of them are currents in this ocean. The ideas you speak ripple outward, becoming sound, then air vibrations, then impressions upon others. Those impressions become actions, decisions, new waves in the world. The ocean of motion carries not only matter and energy, but meaning, spreading through lives like water through rivers. Your thoughts too are part of the endless tide, never truly ending, only transforming as they are shared, remembered or echoed in others. At cosmic scales, the ocean's vastness becomes even clearer. The Earth turns without pause, pulled by gravity, carried in orbit around the Sun. The Moon circles the Earth, raising tides, stirring oceans, guiding rhythms of life. The solar system drifts through the Milky Way, stars orbiting the galactic center in cycles lasting hundreds of millions of years. Beyond that, galaxies themselves are carried by the expansion of space, moving away from one another as the universe grows. All of this is motion upon motion, waves upon waves, tides upon tides. There is no still point, no anchor, no final rest. The ocean of motion carries everything forward, without pause, without end. Entropy ensures that this motion spreads outward, smoothing differences, seeking balance. Heat moves from warm to cool, sound disperses into silence, order drifts toward disorder. Yet this is not loss but transformation. The warmth of a fire becomes heat in the air, then motion in molecules, then energy in winds. The sound of a voice becomes waves in air, then faint vibrations upon walls, then silence that still carries traces. The ordered growth of a tree becomes the scattered nutrients of soil, feeding new life. Entropy is the way the ocean stirs itself, ensuring that nothing is trapped forever. That motion continues in new forms. It is not an end, but a spreading, a sharing, a reminder that everything is part of the same sea. There is a quiet peace in this truth. You are not apart from the ocean, not fighting against it, not at risk of being left behind. You are carried by it, always sustained, always joined. The energy that fuels your body will one day return to the larger flow. The atoms of your form will disperse into soil, into air, into stars. The thoughts you share will ripple outward, joining the lives of others. Nothing you are will vanish. It will transform as it always has, as it always will. The ocean of motion does not stop for beginnings or endings. It only continues, weaving each life, each moment into its unbroken current. Imagine floating in a vast sea at night. Above you, stars drift slowly, their light crossing unimaginable distances. Beneath you, waves rise and fall, carrying you gently. Around you, the wind stirs, cool and endless. This is the ocean of motion, both literal and metaphorical, both outside and within. You do not need to control it. You only need to recognize that you are already within it, already part of it, already carried by its tides. The ocean asks nothing of you but to join its flow, to live your wave, to release yourself back into the sea when the time comes. So when you pause and think that everything is still, remember that nothing has ever been still. The ocean of motion carries atoms, carries galaxies, carries you. Your life is one wave rising, cresting and blending back into the larger sea. But the sea remains infinite and alive, forever in motion. This is the gentle truth that softens fear, that eases the mind, that soothes the heart. Nothing ever truly stops. You are the ocean, and the ocean is you, moving endlessly, flowing without end, alive in every wave, every breath, every star. Light has always been our first guide. Long before words were written or clocks were made, light was the rhythm that told life when to wake, when to rest, when to grow. But light is more than a daily companion. It is a river, flowing endlessly from the hearts of stars, streaming through space, touching every corner of the universe. Unlike rivers of water, this river never runs dry. Its waves and particles, its photons move at the fastest speed the universe allows, carrying energy, carrying information, carrying life. When you open your eyes in the morning, what you see is not only the world, it is the river of light arriving from 93 million miles away, flowing from the sun into your vision. You live within this river every moment, even when your eyes are closed. The river of light began at the dawn of time. When the universe was young, a dense sea of particles and radiation light could not escape. It was trapped, scattered endlessly in every direction, unable to travel freely. But as the universe expanded and cooled, space itself cleared, and light was released. This moment, billions of years ago, created the cosmic microwave background, the faint afterglow still shimmering across the heavens today. That glow is the oldest light we can see, the first great release of the river, still flowing, still reminding us of beginnings. Every photon that travels carries the story of this first freedom, whispering that the universe has always been a place of motion, always a place where nothing truly rests. From that moment onward, stars became the great fountains of light. Within their cores, hydrogen fuses into helium, releasing energy that climbs outward through layers of plasma before leaping free as photons. These photons may take thousands or even millions of years to escape a star's interior, bouncing endlessly inside before emerging at the surface and racing into space. Once free, they can travel for billions of years without slowing unless they meet dust, planets, or eyes like yours. The light that warms your skin today may have begun its journey before humanity existed. To feel its warmth is to touch ancient history, to be connected to the eternal river that flows through all of time. This river does not only illuminate, it sustains. Plants drink in light through photosynthesis, splitting molecules of water, capturing carbon from air, forging sugars that feed their growth. From this simple act, all life is nourished. Animals eat plants, or eat animals that ate plants, carrying sunlight forward in their bodies. You too are built of sunlight transformed. The energy in your muscles, the spark in your thoughts, the warmth in your breath, all of it comes from the river of light. Without it, there would be no green in forests, no motion in seas, no voices, no laughter, no life. Every moment you live is a continuation of this ancient gift, carried from star to leaf, to body to soul. Yet, light is not only nourishment, it is also memory. When you look at the stars in the night sky, you're seeing them not as they are now, but as they were when their light began its journey. A star 10 light years away shows you its past from a decade ago. A star 1,000 light years away shows you its past from a millennium ago. The farther you look, the deeper into history you travel. Light is a river of time as much as of energy, carrying images of what once was, preserving them in waves and photons that cross the dark. The night sky is a map of memory, a reminder that nothing ever vanishes entirely. Even when stars die, their light continues, travelling onward, still arriving, still speaking of what once was. At smaller scales, light is also the painter of beauty. Every colour you see is light reflected, absorbed or refracted. The blue of the sky is sunlight scattered by the molecules in air. The green of leaves is sunlight absorbed by chlorophyll, reflecting what is not used. The colours of dawn and dusk are sunlight stretched through atmosphere, softened into reds and golds. Rainbows are droplets bending light into a spectrum, each colour a separate path of the same river. Everywhere you look, the world is shaped by light, defined by how it flows and bends and reflects. Your very perception, your sense of reality, is built upon the endless river streaming through your eyes. Even when the sun sets, the river does not stop. Starlight continues to fall, moonlight reflects, firelight glows, artificial lights hum in human-made forms. In the deepest night, photons still stream from distant galaxies, still pass through atmosphere, still brush against Earth. Even in darkness, there is light too faint to see, still flowing, still present. Complete absence of light is rare, found only in the deepest caves or the coldest reaches of space. Yet even there, photons pass unseen. Neutrinos whisper through, invisible but alive. The river of light does not halt for shadows. It moves without pause, whether or not we witness it. Light is also the bridge between the tiny and the vast. In the quantum world, photons behave as both particles and waves, sometimes striking like points, sometimes spreading like ripples. They carry momentum, yet have no mass. They can be absorbed and re-emitted, changing the state of atoms, shaping chemical bonds, guiding molecular rhythms. At cosmic scales, light traces the structure of galaxies, bends around massive stars through gravity's lens, carries the story of the universe outward. It is the same river, flowing through the smallest corners of matter and the largest sweeps of space. It unites the scales, reminding us that the same motion that paints a butterfly's wing also paints the arcs of galaxies, and within you, light continues its journey. Every time photons touch your eyes, they trigger chemical changes, signals that race through nerves, patterns that form into vision. What you see is not just the world, but the river flowing into your mind, translated into images, shapes, colours, memories. Even your sleep is guided by light, your circadian rhythms entrained by the cycle of day and night. Light shapes not only plants and stars, but your own sense of time, your own sense of being. It carries not just energy, but meaning, weaving its current into the core of your life. So when you open your eyes to the world, you are not only seeing, you're receiving the river. Each photon that strikes you has travelled across time and space to meet you in this moment. Each one is a message, a gift, a continuation of energy that began long before you noticed. You are never apart from this river. You live within it, sustained by it, guided by it. And even when you close your eyes, the flow does not end. The river of light continues, always moving, always carrying, always whispering that nothing ever truly stops. The river of light becomes more mysterious the longer you sit with it. To the eyes it seems simple, something that reveals shapes and colours, something that brightens days and fades at night. But beneath its beauty lies complexity beyond imagination. A single photon, a single packet of light, is a messenger carrying energy across space. It has no rest, no slowing, no pause. From the moment it is born in the heart of a star or released by the glow of a fire, it travels outward at the same unbroken speed, never tiring, never ceasing, until it meets matter. This constancy makes light the universe's great measure, the foundation of how we mark distance and time. To speak of light years is to speak of journeys, of photons carrying themselves faithfully across the vast ocean of space. And yet light is not bound to a single identity. It behaves as both a particle and a wave, a duality that defies ordinary sense. Sometimes it strikes like a grain of matter, depositing energy in a single place. Sometimes it spreads like ripples on water, interfering, overlapping, blending. This paradox is not a contradiction but a reminder that the universe is more subtle than our eyes allow. Light can bend around mountains of gravity, curve around stars, even be delayed and split into multiple paths by galaxies far away. It weaves through matter, reflects from surfaces, refracts through glass, slows in water but never ceases. It is both gentle and powerful, delicate enough to paint a rainbow on mist, strong enough to carve landscapes over eons of solar heat. Light is not one thing, it is many things, yet always motion. Consider how this river interacts with your own body. The photons from the sun do not stop at your skin. They enter, triggering molecules, sparking reactions that create vitamin D, influencing health and mood. Your brain itself is tuned to light, guided by cycles of day and night. When morning light reaches your eyes, it signals to your body to awaken, to stir with energy. When evening falls and light fades, your body drifts toward rest, your rhythms shifting into sleep. You live by the river without even knowing it, your inner world entrained to its flow. It is not only vision that depends on light, but your sense of time, your cycles of waking and dreaming, your very balance of life. Plants reveal the intimacy of this relationship even more clearly. Every leaf is a net cast into the river, catching photons, absorbing their energy, turning them into sugars through photosynthesis. Those sugars build wood and fruit, feed roots and seeds, sustain entire ecosystems. The energy of light is thus carried into every bite of food you eat, every sip of drink you take, every breath you exhale. Without this flow, there would be no forests, no fields, no oceans alive with plankton. All of life on Earth is nourished by the river of light. Even creatures in the deepest seas, far from sunlight, depend indirectly on energy that began with photons striking the surface world. In this way, the river feeds all streams of life. But light is not only sustenance, it is also story. The universe tells its tale in light. Astronomers study distant galaxies by the light they emit, each photon carrying information about the star or nebula it came from. The colours reveal temperature, the patterns reveal composition, the faintest glows reveal age and distance. Looking at the sky is not only seeing, it is reading. Each point of starlight is a page, each spectrum a sentence, each photon a word. Light is the archive of the cosmos, carrying history through space to be read by eyes and instruments billions of years later. When you gaze into the night, you are not only looking outward but backward, peering into ancient chapters preserved in the flowing river. The river also bends reality itself. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, nothing can move faster than light. It is the universe's ultimate limit, the cosmic speed law. Time and space themselves are shaped by this constant woven together in ways that defy intuition. A beam of light does not experience time as you do. From its perspective, its journey is instantaneous, whether across a room or across a billion light years. For you, it may be a journey of ages. For light, it is always now. This paradox hints at a truth deeper than ordinary thought. Light is not only a carrier of motion but a bridge across time, connecting past, present and future in ways our minds can barely hold. Even in darkness, the river flows. The faint afterglow of the Big Bang still fills the cosmos, a soft radiation that hums invisibly, a sea of photons too faint for eyes but measurable with instruments. This light is everywhere, flowing through space, whispering the memory of creation. It is the background against which all other light shines, the quiet river beneath the brighter streams of stars. You live within this glow even now, touched by it every moment, even when you cannot see. Light is never absent. It is always there, in shadows, in reflections, in faint whispers, in unseen forms. Closer to home, the river reveals itself in smaller wonders. The glow of fireflies in a summer night, the shimmer of bioluminescent plankton in the ocean, the spark of lightning across the sky, all are light born from life and weather, flowing outward into the world. Even within your own body, faint photons are emitted in metabolic processes, a quiet bioluminescence that is too dim to notice but real all the same. You are not only sustained by the river, you glow faintly as part of it, a spark in the larger flow. To think of this is to feel kinship with the stars, to know that you too contribute to the endless stream of light. The river of light shapes art, memory, and spirit as well. Painters use pigments to catch and reflect it, sculpting colour upon canvas. Musicians perform in its presence, their notes accompanied by beams that create mood. Lovers meet in moonlight, children dream beneath starlight, travellers find their way by its glow. Entire cultures have built myths around the sun, the moon and the stars, seeing in them gods, stories and symbols. Light is not only physical but cultural, shaping imagination as much as biology. It is a thread that runs through every aspect of human life, weaving energy into meaning, physics into poetry. So when you sit in the sunlight, or walk in starlight, or gaze into firelight, remember that you are not only looking at brightness, you are touching the river itself, feeling its warmth, receiving its gifts. The photons that strike you may have travelled for eons, waiting only for this moment to reach your skin, your eyes, your mind. They are not lost when they leave you. They continue onward, scattered, reflected, reabsorbed, always flowing, always alive. The river of light does not stop for shadows, for time, for endings. It is as endless as motion itself, reminding you in every glow and every gleam that nothing ever truly stops. To understand the river of light is to understand that it is not only around you but within you, shaping every moment of your existence. The photons you see are not just brightness, they are signals, energy arriving to create vision, memory, awareness. Without light, your world would be silent to your eyes, and time itself would feel different. It is light that paints morning in gold and evening in crimson, that makes seasons turn, that marks the cycles of days and years. This rhythm, carried faithfully by photons, has guided life for billions of years. Every flower that opens, every bird that sings at dawn, every human who rises with the sun is responding to the same river, flowing without pause, without end. Yet even as it sustains life, light also reveals death, change, and renewal. The glow of a setting sun reminds us that every day ends, but it also promises that another will begin. The fading light of a dying star travels outward, carrying the last story of its fire, even as the star itself collapses. The photons released will continue for billions of years, long after the star is gone, still moving, still arriving, still whispering that energy does not end. Light carries endings into beginnings, weaving them into a single thread of continuity. When you stand in twilight, you are standing between what was and what will be, bathed in the river that connects both. The river also teaches us about patience. A photon born in the core of the sun may wander for thousands of years before escaping into space. It bounces from particle to particle, absorbed and released countless times, until at last it emerges from the surface. From there, it travels to Earth in just over 8 minutes, touching your skin with warmth that began its journey long before your ancestors walked the ground. To feel sunlight is to touch ancient history, to be reminded that the river's flow is not hurried but steady, faithful and enduring. It is not a flash but a stream, carrying with it the quiet persistence of the cosmos. In its quiet way, light reveals the unity of all things. The same photon that begins in a star may end its journey in a leaf, or in your eye, or in a grain of sand. It may feed a plant, feed an animal, feed you. It may warm your skin, then bounce outward, continuing its journey into space. It may bend around the gravity of planets, split into colours through rain, scatter in mist. Yet through all these transformations, it remains part of the river, never ceasing, never truly lost. This is the essence of energy, not destruction but passage, not loss but change. Light does not end, it only continues its journey, always forward, always outward, always alive. Even in darkness, light shapes what is possible. Stars hidden beyond our sight still send photons that curve around galaxies, still influence the structure of space itself. Black holes, though they capture light, also radiate faintly through Hawking radiation, reminding us that even the most absolute shadows are not silent. Light reaches into every corner of existence, sometimes visible, sometimes hidden, sometimes faint, but always present. To think of this is to realize that you are never outside the river. Even when you close your eyes, photons touch your skin. Even when you dream, light shapes the rhythms of your sleep. Even when you die, the atoms of your body will carry the memory of light they once absorbed, releasing it into new forms, new beings, new currents of the river. Humanity has always sought to harness and understand this river. From fire carried in torches, to oil lamps, to electricity flowing through wires, we have created ways to capture and guide light. Yet what we shape is never truly ours. It is always borrowed from the larger river. The electricity that powers lamps is drawn from the motion of water, from the combustion of fuels, from the splitting of atoms, all of which trace back to sunlight, to cosmic energy, to transformations of matter. The glow of your room at night is not separate from the stars above. It is a continuation, a fragment of the same flow. a reminder that the river of light runs through human life as surely as it runs through galaxies. But perhaps the most gentle lesson of light is that it carries both presence and absence. Light defines shadow as much as brightness. The places where it does not fall are shaped by where it does. A tree in sunlight casts shade, a mountain blocks rays, a body creates outline. Shadows are not the absence of light, but the evidence of its direction, its journey. They remind us that the river is always flowing, always moving, and that even darkness is only the quieter side of its passage. To live in light is also to live in shadow, to recognize that both are part of the same rhythm, the same endless stream. When you gaze at a rainbow, you are seeing the river slowed into colours, spread into spectrum, revealed in all its subtlety. Each colour is a different wavelength, a different step in the dance of photons, yet all part of one flow. The river is not divided, only refracted, only revealed in layers. So too is life. You may see differences, separate forms, distinct events, but all are part of the same current. The river carries them together, weaving them into one endless journey. The rainbow is the reminder that unity can be hidden in diversity, that the flow is one even when it seems many. So when you think of light, think not only of brightness but of flow. Think of a river that began at the dawn of time, that streams through stars and leaves and eyes, that carries memory, sustenance, beauty, and truth. You are not apart from this river. You are immersed in it, sustained by it, illuminated by it. The photons that touch you today are part of a story older than Earth and will continue long after you are gone. They will scatter, reflect, rejoin the flow, carrying with them the essence of continuity. Light never rests, never ends. It is the river of motion, the river of life, the river that whispers in every gleam that nothing ever truly stops. The universe breathes, though not with lungs, not with air, not with rhythms we know in our bodies. Its breath is expansion and contraction, cycles of energy flowing outward and folding inward again, waves of creation and dissolution spread across cosmic time. From the very beginning, when everything we know was compressed into a point smaller than a grain of sand, the universe drew its first breath. In an instant it expanded, exhaling into space and time, into matter and energy, into the endless unfolding we now call reality. That breath has never ended. It continues still, in the stretching of galaxies, in the spreading of light, in the quiet hum of background radiation. We live inside this breath, carried by it, moved by it, part of its eternal rhythm. Imagine the very first exhale of creation. From a singularity, the universe swelled outward, space itself stretching, energy rushing into forms that would one day become stars, planets, oceans, and lives. That first expansion was not only a release but a promise. That motion would never cease, that energy would always flow, that existence would forever carry the rhythm of breath. The galaxies we see drifting apart are not floating through empty space, but carried by the expansion of space itself, like leaves moving outward on the surface of a growing balloon. This motion is not random, but part of the same breath that began billions of years ago. To look at the night sky is to see the evidence of the universe still exhaling. Within this cosmic breath lies the possibility of cycles. Some scientists wonder if the universe may one day contract, drawing everything back inward in a great inhale, only to expand again in a new exhale. Others believe the breath will continue outward forever, expanding into infinite space, galaxies drifting farther apart until even light cannot bridge the distances. We do not yet know which is true, but what is certain is that motion will not cease. Whether outward or inward, whether endless or cyclical, the universe breathes. Its rhythm shapes time itself, and we are woven into its inhalations and exhalations. This breath is not only cosmic but intimate. The expansion of the universe creates the conditions for stars, and stars create the conditions for life. Within your body you carry atoms forged in ancient stars, atoms that were released into space when those stars exhaled their final breaths. Each inhale you take now is an echo of those stellar exhalations. Oxygen fills your lungs, travels into blood, fuels cells. With each breath, you are joined to trees, to oceans, to the air itself, and to the stars that first created these atoms. Your lungs mirror the cosmos. They rise and fall as the universe expands and contracts. You are not only alive within the breath of the universe, you are breathing with it. Think of how breath connects you to the world. You inhale what others exhale, the air cycling endlessly through life. The carbon dioxide you release may be taken up by a leaf tomorrow, transformed into sugar stored in wood. The oxygen you breathe in may have been released by a forest or a patch of plankton drifting in the sea. This exchange is unbroken, a rhythm of give and take, of sharing and receiving. Breath is not possession, but participation. You do not hold air as yours alone. You join a cycle that flows through every being, every moment, every place. The breath of the universe is reflected in this, reminding you that nothing is still, nothing is separate, nothing ever stops. Even silence carries this truth. When you sit quietly and listen to your own breathing, you are hearing not only the rise and fall of your lungs, but the echo of larger cycles. The earth inhales and exhales carbon through forests and oceans. The sun breathes through the cycles of its solar wind, streams of charged particles flowing outward into space. Stars breathe in fusion, swelling and shrinking, brightening and dimming. Galaxies breathe in spirals, drawing matter inward, flinging it outward, reshaping over billions of years. The universe itself breathes in expansion, its rhythm so vast we can only sense it faintly, like a heartbeat too slow for ordinary time. Yet it is there, unbroken, carrying us all within it. Even death is part of this breath. A star that collapses into a supernova is not ending, but exhaling, releasing elements into space that will form new stars, new planets, new beings. A tree that falls in the forest decays, releasing carbon back into the cycle, feeding the soil, feeding new growth. A life that ends returns its atoms, its energy, its breath into the larger rhythm. Nothing is erased, everything is inhaled and exhaled by the universe, recycled, reshaped, carried forward. To see this is to soften fear. There is no final silence, no ultimate stillness. There is only the continuation of breath, changing forms, moving endlessly. Your own breath is a teacher of this truth. When you inhale, you take in molecules that may have once moved through ancient forests, through the lungs of animals long gone, through the very air exhaled by your ancestors. When you exhale, you release molecules that will join oceans, forests, and future beings. Each breath is both personal and universal, both intimate and infinite. You are not breathing alone, you are breathing with the earth, with the cosmos, with time itself. The rhythm of your lungs is a mirror of the rhythm of galaxies. You are part of the universe's living breath. So when you pause and take a breath, know that you are joining the oldest rhythm of all. You're not separate from the cosmos, but woven into its inhale and exhale, carried by its endless motion. The universe breathes, and through that breath you live. The river of air through your lungs is the echo of the first expansion, the whisper of galaxies drifting, the hum of stars. You're not outside this truth, you are this truth. You are the breath of the universe, moving, flowing, never ceasing, never still. The breath of the universe is not a metaphor alone. It is written into the fabric of science, into the laws that describe expansion, into the cycles of energy that sustain existence. When cosmologists measure the redshift of galaxies, they are listening to the long inhale of the cosmos, watching as space itself stretches and carries light outward. Each galaxy drifting away is like a molecule of air in a larger exhalation, part of a rhythm that began with the Big Bang. The farther away the galaxy, the faster it recedes, as though the breath is swelling more forcefully with distance. To witness this is to realize that we are not at rest but in motion, adrift upon currents so vast we can barely conceive them. We are passengers within the breath itself. This cosmic exhalation shapes not only galaxies but the flow of time itself. Light stretches as space expands, its wavelengths elongated, its colour reddened. What was once blue becomes red, what was once visible slips into invisibility, stretched beyond our sight. This is how we know the universe is still breathing outward. Even the light from distant quasars, born billions of years ago, reaches us now in a softened form, slowed by the expansion of space. The breath is written into the light itself, recorded in every photon, every wavelength, every shift. To look at the night sky is to see the evidence of breath made visible, to see motion turned into colour, into memory, into proof. And yet the universe also breathes inward in subtler ways. Gravity gathers matter, pulling it into stars, into planets, into black holes. While the expansion of space is outward, the attraction of gravity is inward. Like an inhale balancing an exhale. Stars form from collapsing clouds of gas, their birth a moment of inward breath that concentrates energy into new fire. Planets form from swirling dust drawn together by gravity's pull, shaping new worlds from scattered fragments. Even within your own body, gravity holds you to Earth, keeps air close to the surface, gathers oceans into tides. These are the inhales of the universe that counterbalance to its outward exhalations, the rhythms that keep motion alive. In your lungs, the same pattern repeats. You inhale, drawing air inward, filling your chest, taking in oxygen. You exhale, releasing carbon dioxide, giving back to the air. Neither is permanent. Both are parts of one cycle. The universe mirrors this rhythm in grander scales, drawing matter inward, then pushing it outward, shaping galaxies, stars and planets through the same eternal exchange. Breath, whether in lungs or galaxies, is always a cycle of transformation, of sharing, of motion that cannot be held. The inhale prepares the exhale. The exhale makes space for the next inhale. This is the rhythm of existence itself. Breath is also a song of connection. The air you breathe now may have passed through countless beings before you. A molecule of oxygen in your lungs could have been exhaled by a bird a week ago, by a tree a year ago, by an ancient creature millions of years ago. Breath does not belong to you, it belongs to the cycle, to the ocean of life that shares it endlessly. In the same way, the cosmic breath does not belong to one galaxy, one star, one world. It belongs to all of existence, shared across time and space, weaving together the motion of the smallest particles and the largest clusters. You are not separate from this song. You are one note in its melody, one rhythm in its breath. Even silence carries breath. When you sit still and notice your lungs, you may also notice the earth breathing around you. Forests inhale carbon dioxide, exhale oxygen. Oceans absorb gases, release them again. Winds carry molecules from one continent to another, dispersing the exhalations of one place into the lungs of another. The Earth's atmosphere is a shared lung, breathing with all life upon it. And above, the sun breathes in cycles too, its surface pulsing with storms, its magnetic field swelling and shrinking, its solar wind flowing outward in steady rhythm. The breath of the universe is not abstract. It is visible in every cycle, audible in every rhythm, alive in every motion that continues without end. Death is not outside of this breath, but part of it. A star's final collapse is an exhale of unimaginable scale, scattering elements that form new systems, new beings. A forest fire consumes trees, releasing their stored breath into the air, clearing space for new growth. A body exhales for the last time, and its atoms return to soil, to sky, to cycle. Nothing is wasted, nothing is ended. The breath of the universe takes everything in and gives everything back. A rhythm so vast that beginnings and endings blur into one endless motion. To see this is to find peace in change, comfort in impermanence, beauty in the continuity that never breaks. This truth is not only physical but also emotional. When you take a deep breath, you feel calm, grounded, steady. That calm comes from aligning yourself, however briefly, with the larger rhythm. Your breath reminds you that you are carried, that you are sustained, that you do not have to hold everything alone. The universe breathes through you, and in that realization there is release. You're not apart from the cosmos, but part of its endless inhale and exhale. Your fears, your struggles, your joys are not isolated. They are ripples in the same breath, movements within the same tide. To breathe is to participate in eternity. So when you close your eyes and inhale deeply, imagine that you are not only filling your lungs with air, but joining the breath of galaxies, the expansion of space, the inhale and exhale of stars. Imagine that every breath you take is an echo of the first expansion, a continuation of the oldest rhythm. You're not separate from it. You're part of it, carried by it, made of it. And when you exhale, you give back to that rhythm, your molecules carried outward, your energy released into the wider flow. Nothing stops. Nothing is lost. The universe breathes, and you breathe with it, forever part of its endless, gentle motion. The final truth of the universe's breath is that it is never ending, though its rhythm may change, though its form may evolve. Expansion may continue forever, or perhaps one day it will slow and reverse. Galaxies may drift endlessly apart, or they may gather back together in a great contraction. We cannot yet know the outcome, but we do know the rhythm will not vanish. Whether outward or inward, whether vast or subtle, the breath of the universe will continue. It is the nature of energy, of matter, of time itself. Nothing stops. Motion is eternal. The cosmos breathes, and in that breath lies the promise of continuity beyond any single form or moment. Look at your own life as a reflection of this. Each breath you take rises and falls, comes and goes, and yet the rhythm continues. You may sleep, you may pause, you may fall silent, but your lungs return again and again to their motion. Life is carried on this rhythm, as steady and as endless as the tide. Even when your own breathing ceases one day, the rhythm does not end. Others will breathe, the earth will breathe, the stars will breathe, the universe will breathe. You are one note in the melody, one wave in the tide, one breath in the endless cycle. The continuity is greater than you, yet you are part of it. To recognize this is to recognize peace. Consider the forests. They breathe in carbon dioxide, breathe out oxygen, creating the air that sustains life. Their rhythm is slower than yours, but it is no less essential. The oceans breathe too, absorbing gases, releasing them again, shaping climate, shaping balance. The Earth itself breathes, cycling through ice ages and warm periods, through the rise and fall of sea levels, through the growth and decay of ecosystems. And above, stars breathe as they swell and contract, as they burn and collapse, as they exhale elements into space. All of these rhythms together weave the greater breath of the universe, a chorus of cycles echoing the same eternal motion. To see this is to see unity, to see that nothing is apart, that everything participates in the same flow. Even silence and stillness are part of the breath. When you pause between inhale and exhale, there is a moment of quiet, but it is not an ending. It is part of the rhythm, the balance between one motion and the next. The universe too may have such pauses, moments of balance, moments when one phase gives way to another. But the rhythm continues. The breath is never absent, only changing its form. Stillness is only a softer part of the cycle, a reminder that motion can slow but never cease. The breath of the universe is as present in silence as in sound, as present in shadow as in light. The atoms within you carry this rhythm as well. The oxygen you inhale bonds with carbon in your body, creating carbon dioxide that you exhale. That carbon dioxide may drift into a forest, into a leaf, where it will be broken apart, its carbon stored, its oxygen released again. Those atoms may travel for years, for centuries, for millennia, moving through countless beings, countless cycles, countless breaths. You are part of this continuity, part of this endless exchange. Nothing you breathe is ever truly yours alone. It is borrowed, shared, returned. Breath is not ownership, but participation in a rhythm older than stars. At the grandest scale, cosmologists imagine the universe itself as a breath. The Big Bang was the first great exhale, the expansion that began everything. Some theories suggest there may be a future inhale, a contraction that draws everything back together. Others suggest the breath will never turn inward, but continue expanding, stretching space forever. Either way, the rhythm continues. The breath does not end, only changes its direction, its tempo, its form. And within that breath, every galaxy, every star, every being is carried forward. You are not separate from this. You are one inhalation, one exhalation, one part of the eternal breath of the universe. This perspective can bring comfort in the face of impermanence. When you lose something, when you see change, when you face endings, you can remember that nothing is truly lost. It is released back into the breath, transformed, carried onward into new forms. A life that ends becomes soil and air, becomes nourishment for other lives, becomes part of the cycle again. A star that collapses becomes elements, becomes dust, becomes the seed of new stars. Even your thoughts, your words, your actions ripple outward, carried into the breath of others, continuing beyond your awareness. Nothing ends. Everything exhales into new beginnings. You're not small within this perspective, you're essential. A note in the song, a wave in the sea, a breath in the cosmos. Your presence, your motion, your breath matters, not because it is permanent, but because it is part of continuity that cannot be broken. And when you take your final breath one day, know that it's not an ending. It is a release into the larger rhythm, a return to the universal exhale, a continuation of the cycle that began before you and will continue long after. The atoms of your body will disperse, the energy of your life will spread outward. The breath you release will join the endless tide. You will not be gone. You will be transformed, carried into new forms, new beings, new moments. The universe will continue breathing, and you will continue within it, forever part of its endless motion. The breath of the universe is not something distant or abstract. It is here, now, moving through you, around you, within you. It is in every inhale, every exhale, every rhythm of life. It is in the expansion of galaxies, in the cycling of stars, in the rise and fall of Earth's winds and seas. You're not apart from it. You're the breath of the universe, as essential and eternal as any star. And in that truth lies the gentlest comfort of all. Nothing ever truly stops. The breath continues, and within it, so do you.